Yo, what up? It's TH Media Tanner Hench.
This is Genre.
And
you're watching Cloudy Conversations.
Alright guys, so welcome back to another episode of Cloudy Conversations. Today's guest is Tanner Hench of TH Media and music artist Genre. Thank you guys for sitting down and talking to us today.
Cool. This is a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, it's not often that we get to do group interviews. In fact, I think this is actually only my second one. So in this case, we're going to get to know you guys both as, your duo together, and then we're going to focus a little bit more on the individual. The relationship between the artist and the videographer, I should say.
Right.
So like every interview, I like to start off from the beginning, kind of build up to where we are now. So where did you guys grow up?
You go first.
Well, I'm from Harrisburg. I was born in New Jersey, but I've been here for too long, so I can't say I'm not from Harrisburg no more. I grew up around the mall. I went to Bishop McDevitt.
Okay.
Got a lot of friends out here. I did a lot of things. I did sports, and sports is how I made most of my connections. But when I really tapped into the music scene, that's when I really started making like people I could relate to, like as friends, instead of just like, okay, we went to the same school type stuff, But he not from Harrisburg.
I'm not from Harrisburg, so I've never even claimed Harrisburg, but I'm from Boiling Springs. Not Carlisle, Boiling Springs. Small, even smaller town outside of Carlisle. But yeah, no, so I always skated whenever I was younger, and we would film while skating, and then some of my friends rap. So I started trying to do music videos, and my one boy at the time, he goes by K2 now. He doesn't really make music too much anymore. He was like my goal, the person that I wanted to shoot a video for at the time. This chair is so squeaky. I'm trying my best not to move. But it was basically like my goal to practice with other people to work with him, and that's still like one of my really close friends. But yeah, I just kind of progressed from skating to music videos and found my passion through that.
Okay. Now, before we get too much into what you guys are doing now, let's focus a bit more on the children's side, more of the growing up. You said you were born in Jersey but grew up in Harrisburg area, Boiling Springs. So what was your experiences like in those separate areas, I should say? Because those are drastically two different places. Harrisburg's the city, Boiling Springs one of the outer layer, the suburb type area. I don't know if it's forums. I've never been there. I can't lie.
Not a lot of people have.
Honestly. There you go for
Okay, so it's definitely it was kind of different transitioning from, this is still a pretty small city, but from a small town to what seems like a pretty big city. I still live in Boiling Springs. I lived there my whole life. I've never moved, so I didn't go from Jersey to Harrisburg or anything like that. But it was a predominantly white school. I had a few black friends, but a lot of everybody that I went to school with, it's not like I hung out with them much outside of school or after school. And then once I started getting into my skate homies were my main homies. And then once I started getting more into music videos, that was whenever I kind of started expanding who I was friends with, and just learning about the culture and getting more indelved in it, and just figuring out how to navigate whenever meeting new people. And I still continue to do that all the time, but it's definitely easier now. And people usually rock with me off rip, so it's it makes me happy. It's they see the work and they like me because of that, but then they see my personality, and then it's yeah, all right, yeah, I like him. And I made a lot of friends from a lot of different cultures and a lot of different backgrounds, and that's one of the most important things to me. Is just building connections and true friendships of people that will support you and rock with you along the way.
I don't know how I can follow up with that. That was pretty crazy. That was
media training.
No, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so we're talking about growing up, right? So
your experiences.
I would say my experience is probably the exact opposite of his starting off. He said, he was in a predominantly white area, and he had a couple black friends. I came from Newark, New Jersey. I ain't seen no white people out there.
I was the first one ever.
Not true.
I'm just
kidding. But I came out here, and then I had a friend, and he was white, and that was my first experience. All right, this could be cool, because I came here, I was just so surrounded by unfamiliar territory, and it was just, you learn to adapt. I've been an entertainer damn near all my life in some way, shape, or form. So I just, you just adapt. But I went to public school and I played basketball, played saxophone, trumpet, drums, piano, etc., etc. So music has always been like something that's been rooted in my life and in my story, like in some way, shape, or form. Get to high school, I started rapping, I started meeting more people, etc., etc. Go to college, I actually went to Penn State Harrisburg, which is not too far from here. I studied communications. And yeah, that's really how I made most of my connections. That's how I got my start out here, just talking to people, networking, being social, being active, just trying not to just stay in the house doing nothing, So that was really my experience for Harrisburg.
So do you guys think coming from a kind of a small city feel it influenced you in a way to want to get out there more? Because like you said, you come from a predominantly white area, you come from the city area, but both places don't offer much creatively things to do, period, besides maybe movies, bowling. So like within that area that you grew up in, did that make you want to like get out there more to like see what the world had to offer?
I don't think so, but maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Because I feel like I've always had big ideas and like big goals in mind. And I think a lot of people have that, if I live here, I get stuck in this sort of mindset. But and that may be true for some people, but for me, I don't feel like that's true because I really like where I live. I like this area. I don't think I could live in a city. I was thinking about that on my way here, and I was like, man, like if I lived in the city, I wouldn't see any grass or any green grass for that, and I just kind of need like that fresh air and everything to keep me recharged. And I think the other thing, especially about living in the city, is whenever you live there, people get burnt out. And they're like, this is why it's toxic. This is why I don't like have any good ideas. So it's like, I feel like living outside of here and then coming back in whenever I need to do work, it's like, I just always kind of have, perfect balance. And I kind of have a fresh mindset. And it's also really good because it's like Boiling Springs and Carlisle, it's like right here, and Harrisburg is right here, and like Chambersburg and Shippensburg is over here. So it's kind of right in the middle. Right. So because I got to go both places a lot of times, opposed to just like living in Harrisburg, it's like, I got to drive like an hour and a half to Chambersburg, whatever.
And that kind of like you living in the middle of both places kind of helps you in a sense in my mind because like you said, you live in a place where you can just really be to yourself if you wanted to be one with nature. But now that you're in this position, you got to work and go outside the city, but you're right in the middle between two places that pretty much bring the most traction besides Philly and Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania to, make shit happen. So that perspective just kind of changed my mind. Like, damn, right, maybe if I was with the trees and shit, I would have more creative juice. Like, I didn't think about that.
You were here talking about grass.
Well, it's just,
that's real shit.
Because somebody said something to me yesterday about living in New York. And then I was just thinking about it a little more, and I was just driving past the fields because there's so many cornfields and everything out there. And I was like, man, like, I just don't think like that would be good for my mentality to just live in the middle of all of that. I feel like I would get so burnt out and just like, it just seems repetitive.
And it's crazy that you brought up New York because I visited there in 8th grade on like a trip, and the first thing that I noticed is like they didn't have no trees. I didn't feel no breeze, and even though I lived in a city, like that's one thing I'm accustomed to. Like, okay, we got some trees, there's some breeze coming through going here. I'm like,
it's just like everybody just walks and keeps to themselves.
I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I'm like, y'all don't know what a fresh breeze feels like, so I can completely understand that.
I feel like it's dope too because like when we don't have those things and we go out there and we experience it, we can soak it up and bring it back to the city type, because like there's a lot of energies, a lot of vibes, a lot of kind of positive things out there too. Because you know how you be in Harrisburg, like they just we hate the city X, Y, Z. Like I love this place. I try to like go out, experience different things, and I'm pretty sure he does too. Like you go out, experience things, and just bring it back, and just put that right back into the city. And it's like I don't see too many other people doing that, but it's
And I think it's more so kind of like the people in your age bracket, like the 25 and under. Like I'm only 27, but there's really like, okay, I'll give it a 30 and under people in Harrisburg now who are embracing the city for what we have to offer. Like there's a lot more shows going on. There's a lot more people who's choosing to do business and people who are actually supporting it. And before, growing up, it was always people wanted to do stuff, but there was never a market to in the city. Even though we're kind of still building that right now, I can see, even with this interview platform, I was telling you before we started, like I was surprised to see the amount of people who were reaching out to me, telling me I was doing it. I'm like, wait a minute, you seen my shit? Oh, I'm doing a good job. All right,
yeah, it's a really solid platform. Sorry, you can go ahead. Okay, I was just gonna say, like, it's a really solid platform. Not a lot of people are doing interviews right now, especially the way you do them. They're really clean and concise. I would say like on the other side, it's like comparative to what Rello's doing. I think both you guys do like a really great job, like at just communicating with the artists and like or whoever may be on the interview and just talk like having things prepared ahead of time and just like talking to them to keep the viewers interested and find out like what they want to know.
I'll say another thing too to piggyback off of that is like
Shout out Rello.
Shout out Rello.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the city, like musically speaking, hasn't had like a presence. Like it started around 7-ish years ago, 6-7-ish years ago. So there's not too much going on. Like there hasn't been too much really going on for long enough to really say that we have something like really built foundation, you know. But I tell Fawcett and I tell all these other guys like we're really the pioneers. So the more we care, the more it's gonna look like something years from now. So I definitely appreciate when somebody comes out and they got the interview questions ready, or they got a videographer and the videographers thinking of new ideas and tactics and places and stuff like that. Because this is the foundation, you know. And if you mess up the foundation, like the city will never be anything.
Build the house on the rock, not the sand.
And did you when you started, did you think you would be in this position to be like building the scene, to be part of the main people in Harrisburg when they mention, okay, who's a videographer, who's an artist that's putting in that work, and y'all names come up? Like, did you think that was going to happen? Kind of in a fast pace, like, because it's like you've been doing it, but it's been a couple years, but your name's kind of been consistently being mentioned. So is that surprising?
I think that, well, I don't think it's surprising. Again, the city is not very big, so you're just not going to find, like, I'm not going to say you're not going to find too much talent, but as opposed, there's like 50,000 people here. As opposed to Philly, where there's 1.5, you're just, you know, the ratio of people to creatives is kind of low. But no, I think that I think we're heading in a good direction, and I think it's definitely interesting when you find people who know who you are, or like they're tuned into what you're doing. It's definitely interesting, but it's not super uncommon because again, it's pretty small.
Yeah, I felt like I knew where it was gonna lead, but I didn't think too much ahead of that. And it was more so just me being interested in what I wanted to do and reaching out to people. So it was just like people from very early on, like two of my really good homies, Nikki the Jet and Project, shout out to them. Project was from Dillsburg. I actually met him because of this ex that I dated. Yeah, funny. I just started like locking in with them and then some other people. And then through the work, more people started to know who I was, and then I would just build off of that and just continue to. You can't be scared to do free things too at first, because that's how you can't expect people to pay you for something when they don't know what they're gonna get. Mm-hmm. So you have to build a portfolio so people know when they spend money on you what they're gonna get.
Jim, that's how I met him. That's why we sit here doing this interview together. That's why this is my brother, because that he did that. Do that, you're gonna find something.
So what he's talking about is whenever I wanted more people to know who I was going to all these local shows and I would shoot pictures. I wasn't even really doing video that much. I was just shooting pictures of everybody performing, and I would go and be like, yo, what's your Instagram? They give me their Instagram, and I'd send them the pictures like whenever I got home after I edit them. And that's just a great way to tap in with people and to get your name out there, because when they post your pictures, tag you, like 3-4 people follow you off of that. What's your prices? Hit you, get it booked, and then just keep going after that.
It's a hustle, man. Like literally, him doing that made me say, "Oh, you stand out just a little bit more. You got a little something in you. All right, come here. Let me holler at you." Like that's how it works. A hustler gonna recognize a hustler, and that's if you hustling, then you know.
And when Jay Dartboard, the ceiling fan, wants you to shoot his video, you shoot his video.
See, he doing a little too much. Give him a little too much of that Hennessy.
We did take a shot before this.
Nah, but that's real rap though. That's gems. He gave y'all a gem.
No, that's definitely a key fact, and something that most people say is key to starting out is that early grind, that initial work. Like people are not gonna start to pay you until you give them something worth paying, and they're not gonna be able to see nothing if you ain't doing nothing. So if you're waiting for the dollar to come in, it's gonna be a waiting game of you doing a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, the craziest part about that is like whenever I first started, I thought I was late, and then like 2 years down the road, I'm like, I was really early on that because I just saw Queso and Louie doing their thing, and I was like, man, like I don't know if like there's another another spot open technically, but it's like you can make yourself a spot. You don't got to take anybody else's spot. You just make yourself a spot.
It's never ever too late.
And that's honestly crazy that you say that, because I can kind of relate to that in the sense of I felt the same way. I seen there were already people doing it, and I felt they were doing it well to the point of I was starting to question what would I bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to think, like you said, it's not about what they're doing, because everybody has their own perspective, everybody has their own creation, and the more of us who's out there putting out quality work, it's all going to work for the best of us, especially now that we're all working with each other, we all using our own platforms to push one another. I just see everything going really like in that positive direction. But to double back more into you guys, Tanner, you mentioned it earlier about, being heavy into the skateboarding and things like that. So who were some of the guys in that sport that you looked up to?
I mean, I try to steer away from saying like professionals for that response, just because it's nobody I knew personally, but like the people that really influenced me were my older friends, because I don't have any older siblings. So I was like very easily influenced, whether it was good or bad. So my one homie Forrest, K2, his real name's Isaac, Chase, Connor's like younger, but he's still like, he's been through a lot. So they're just like all, and Steven, they're just like all the homies that I've been along with them for so many years, that they just taught me so many things that I didn't learn from anywhere else. And like same thing with him, like he's put me on a lot of game of just like things I didn't know and things that I should know. And it's like people don't have to go out of their way to do that, but like if they really rock with you, they will.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So did you ever have pro skater dreams yourself? Like, did you think you were going to be?
Whenever I was in high school, yeah, because, I mean, what kid doesn't dream about doing that? But then I just wanted to get, like, sponsored or something, but then, like, once I got a little bit older, I was like, and then I started pushing the video stuff, I was like, all right, like, that's not very realistic. But I didn't think about this being, like, a career path either. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college. I went to, like, a smaller 6-month school called the Academy for Media Production. It's in Hanover. So I did that to focus more on video and photography. And then, but even before I went into that school, because I took a year off after high school, I was like, all right, like I already knew I wanted to do music videos before I went into school. And then I went into school, and that was like my still main focus while I was there. So I just kind of like, I definitely didn't do as much in that schooling as I should have, because I was focused on what I wanted to do, when I probably would have learned a little bit more if I paid attention. But in the end, it worked out. So that's all that really matters.
That's hilarious. We low-key had like a ironic similarity there, because I was decently good at basketball, and I feel like I could have.
Could you beat Drewtyrell in a 1v1?
Oh yeah, I'm smoking.
Oh, don't do it.
Drew, I got my money on you. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna say I might have to go for Drew. It's the height differential for me.
He's my height. He's my height.
Wait, how tall are you?
6'4".
Oh wait, okay.
What you gonna do to me? Anyway, listen.
He's 6'1".
He was talking on the. He said it. He didn't want to go crazy, but he was on here saying he had him on the court. So I'll come out there and record it, call the conversation exclusive. What I'm saying.
Drew did say
this is not.
Didn't he say he could beat anybody in Harrisburg? That's
See,
crazy.
that's how they get you. That's how they get you. They start putting you up.
Yeah,
Let's take a shot. Anyway. No, but for real though, we definitely had a similar experience, because I really like had aspirations. I'm gonna go to the league where I'm gonna dog all these niggas. But then like it just didn't look realistic, and it didn't look like you was gonna get paid until you got paid. So it was like, all right, let me figure out what else I like to do in life type shit. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Drew's situation was weird too, because I was talking to him more about it, and it was like he was a walk-on. That's what he said, right? So it's like everybody else on the team is getting paid through scholarship money, and then he's not getting any of that, and he just had to still like work for
Put
school.
the same shit on there, do the same thing, but 10 times.
Shout out to him. Love him to death. That's a really good
working
guy.
man.
Hard working guy.
Going crazy.
12 projects a year.
I went to school with him.
Something like that.
I think since maybe middle school. I know for sure high school, but I can't remember who went to math and science together. But Drew's definitely been
solid dude. We got 2 videos we're sitting on right now.
Yeah, y'all need to drop them. Jones.
Well, that's the thing, because he needs to come over, and he was like, he was being safer than Nikki though, because he was like, bro, I just need to get my car inspected. It's like, or whatever ran out of date. And then Nikki was like, yeah, bro, I haven't had my car inspected in like a year.
It's not the time to be
so yeah, we shot one in New York, and then another one we just shot around here, but they're both going to be solid. I'm hyped for those.
good. So, were you guys good academically? Like
No.
No.
All that was in my head was just graduate, and it was just like C's and D's, just get by. I didn't care about grades. I wasn't going to college. I didn't care about grades.
I was A's and B's. I wasn't getting no C's. I was in school.
Yeah,
Like I was in college, and I was doing music. I was making the music. I was selling the music. I was doing the cover or trying to figure out the cover arts. I was trying to figure out the videos. I was doing all the other shit, but I always made sure that my grades was cool. Like if you get good enough grades, you're not paying for school. Like my school realistically was free because I had good grades. It was cool.
This is kind of where it's different and the same too, because like I knew I wasn't going to college, so I didn't have to care about grades. My parents didn't go to college, so they were like, just pass and it's fine. But then whenever I did go to that smaller school, I remember I was working with my dad. My dad does flooring, and then I had another job too. And then so I was going to school 4 days a week. I would work with my dad on Fridays and work the other job on Saturdays. And then I would like shoot music videos when I had time throughout the week. So it might have just been like one every 2 weeks or so, but it was still like that was what I wanted to do at the time. So that was what I made time for.
Mm-hmm. And that's important. So just I guess this question kind of fits for both because you still went to that 6 months program.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you were prepared for what college offered you as far as like academically, the class structure, and then as well as the freedom and the responsibility that comes along with now there isn't anybody guiding you. You got to actually go yourself. You still got to pay this money. Like, were you in that mindset? Feel like you were ready to go take that step?
Oh, that was a question for me. I thought it was for both of us.
I can go first. You went to school and you did your program, even though you said you never intended.
So I already, that's true. So I already got mine paid off. I got that taken care of. I felt like at the time I thought I was mature enough to like use what I had to my advantage, but looking back on it, I definitely wasn't because I was just distracted, just like doing my own thing. And but the shout out to Bill Shania, he's the head of the school, and he definitely saw something in me because he would like hit me after school was done and be like, hey, like I got this wedding video that needs help with, or I got somebody that needs a wedding video, and he just like he put a lot of things my way, and he said he likes to do that with certain students after school until they're busy enough that they don't have time for that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was like a really cool thing that I remember from that.
It's like a connection.
Yeah, definitely. He was a great teacher too. I just wish I paid attention more.
I would say school for me, well, college in particular, I did communications, right? I ain't gonna lie. I saw an interview. J. Cole said, I'm doing communications. So I said, all right, cool. I'm a cool fan. I'm going to do communications. I was stupid. Don't do that. Do not follow that model. Do not just say somebody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it. Do what makes sense for you. But I will say, college. Yeah, well, hey, I ain't say that. But
I'm just kidding.
Look, I'm not going to knock college, but
do whatever works best for you. I don't think college is worth the money, but he would think differently.
Hey, look, you assuming. You don't even know where I'm about to go. What I'm saying is, it's like college will do things for you that you didn't think it would do. Like for me, it built discipline. It built like social skills. It built like the ability to be a leader and a speaker. Cool, whatever. You can learn that damn near anywhere, but you can also for sure learn that in college. So I'm not gonna say go or don't go. I'm just saying whatever makes sense for you in your situation. But don't just go because my parents want me to go X, Y, and Z. And I feel like that's kind of the trap a lot of people fall into, where it's just like, oh, so my mom can brag about me going to college or something like that. If it makes sense for you, then do it. For me, it kind of made sense. At the same time, I wish I would have took all of those hours away from my homework and poured it into the music, because like I said earlier, I was doing both. I mean, it was working in both. I had good grades. I just be wondering sometimes how much harder I could have went at music if I wasn't doing that. But, I'm just appreciative of the opportunity and the people that I met. So,
and you got to throw a show there, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, look, that's what I'm saying. You got to be appreciative, because I threw a show there. That was the first show I ever got paid for. And they ain't throw some chump change at me. They threw some money at me because, what I'm saying, the show was lit and we asked for it and they knew what we were going to bring. So, it was...
No, I definitely agree. I understand, because I kind of had the same experience. Like, I went to IUP. I made it through, like, my sophomore year, but through financial reasons and shit like that, it just wasn't a continuous thing. But then when the thing hit me to start, cloudy concepts, I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? If I'd have thought of this shit before I even went there, it's like I might have been able to finesse school because I was a communications media major. I switched it. I initially went for be an athletic trainer because I love sports. So I was trying to figure out a way to stay close to that. But then the first class when they was talking about learning 100 bones from the knee to the ankle, I was like, yeah, I got to switch. And then the communications media came. I'm like, fuck, like there were so many signs to what it was supposed to be, but like you said earlier, like timing, like it was a process to build up to be able to do what I'm doing now. So I definitely understand. And college is something if you need to be a doctor, if you want to be like a lawyer, okay, for sure. But if you can learn this shit on your own, bro, just put the time in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
YouTube is the best teacher.
I had to learn so much shit.
That's the thing. Like if you want to do something that doesn't require school, YouTube, literally, as long as you are willing to teach yourself, that was what happened with me whenever I was younger. Everything I do now, I've mostly taught myself. And I could have taught myself if I had the motivation and the discipline to do so. And it's like now, I'm like knowledgeable so much about what I'm doing that if I need to learn something, I will just find a video to teach myself. And it's literally free. YouTube.com. Check it out. If you haven't heard of it.
Yo, they're not giving you no check to say that. Cut that out. But listen, I'm going to disagree just a little bit. I'm not going to say YouTube is the best teacher. I'm going to say experience is the best teacher, and YouTube is a good tool. Because you can, lynda.com can give you everything more concise than YouTube can. That's game. Y'all don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, talk to the camera, not me.
You can have that. I'm just saying. But like, it definitely experience is the best teacher. You're not going to make the best video if you don't go in and try this effect and it's not cool and you fuck up and then you say, okay, I'm not going to do it again. Even though you found it on YouTube. You're not going to go into the booth and sing that high note and realize you can't sing that high note because you're not genre. No. Anyway, and realize you're not, Trey Songz or whatever, if you don't go in there and try, even if you look it up on YouTube.
Or sing Spanish and get Leno to write for you.
Hey, listen. Shout out Leno. Shout out to California now because he live in California. No, but for real though.
Yo, shut the fuck.
Yo, he's wild. Yeah, I can't bring him outside.
Alright, so
bring Tanner to Southside one time. You bring him out one time.
How did you guys end up linking up?
Well, he thought I was scared of him. I was not. He was scared of me. He saw how intimidating and tall I was when I'm 6'5" and he's 6'1".
Nah, like we said earlier, the gem he dropped, don't forget it. He put in that extra work that made somebody who's also of that cloth look at him and say, yo, you really working. And then he had a video. Mick Jagger.
No, it's just Jagger.
Lotus.
Mick Jagger is somebody totally different.
Yeah, he's from the...
It's called Lotus. It was our only video. It's actually crazy because that video is like 6K right now. And that was like... The video views went up so organically. Like, he just posted it and people just tapped in. And I've just never had like a video run up. It was really cool because it felt random. I didn't expect it. But we started texting after that. And then he was saying a little bit about the video, and then we met in person at a show, and I was like, I didn't know you were that tall. But then he was gassing me heavy. He's like, bro, that video is so clear. It looks so good. We gotta shoot a video.
I don't even talk about that. But yeah, no, that video was like,
that was how Project talked whenever I met him. He was like, bro email me.
Oh, all right, that makes sense. But yeah, no, he had a dope video, and at the time, I felt like that was my vibe. I feel like his quality was, fit my music.
That was before I got my good camera too.
Yeah, he's crazy. Book him. That's not great though. Don't worry about that. So
it's not that much.
Then I had a song come out, and it was going crazy at the shows. I had dropped it my very first show. It's called Back When 2.0. Check that out on all platforms. But yeah, we get to I tell him we're supposed to shoot a video for that. We set it up, got a B&B, everything's lined up. We get to the shoot. I'm like, yo, bro, remember that song I sent you? And then I switched the song on him last minute, and we ended up making one of Harrisburg's best songs ever.
So my friend Forrest that I mentioned earlier, whenever I saw him, it was like 2 weeks ago. I saw him in person for the first time in a while. And he was like, because I was saying about how we just went out to Florida. And he was like, bro, like that first one y'all did, that one was still so crazy. And I'm like, man, that's hard that you remember that too, because that was a while ago. Like that, you definitely had to be tapped in to see that one at first, I feel like.
I posted that clip on the gram when that first came out. They went crazy. It was ridiculous, but that's definitely one of the songs that I'm gonna perform forever until I can't no more. I'm gonna burn that song out, but
I still kind of wish we did Back 1 2.0. That one was crazy.
But when we get
you don't know
how
many times I've listened to that song before we shot it too.
And when you get to the show and you see the reception to get down, if you are in the Harrisburg,
is like
York,
5G, LTE.
I'm done talking.
So, was it always a part of the plan to become somewhat of a duo, or like did you guys naturally grow into it?
Not at all. Well, not at all planned. It was more like we started working and then we would just talk, and then there was like a gap where we didn't shoot a video for close to a year, but then we still like talked throughout that or would like run into each other. And then it just kind of like naturally grew into that, I feel like.
Yeah. Like when you moving in your passion, you find other people that's moving in their passion. And then, if y'all work ethic is the same and y'all personalities kind of mesh, like you just gonna catch that vibe. And you just, if you genuine enough and you really care about your craft enough, like you understand that you don't get that too often. Like you meet a bunch of other people that really do what you do, but they don't really do it how you do it. And in these fields, they're not the same. I rap, he does, videos, but like, I don't know, the grind, the hustle, the thug was there type, you know what I'm saying? So just can't let that go, man.
I really vibe well with like normal people too. Or like there's some people that like go the extra mile to act a certain way. And it's like him, Nikki, Project, Fad, Cross, Darko. It's just like There's more than that too. That's just like who I had off the top of my head. But it's just like I vibe really well with that type of personality, and I can tell who's a hard worker versus who's not. And Finagle too. Finagle's really cool. He tapped in with me super early. He's definitely a day one too. But yeah, it's just like people that are relatable and easy to get along to outside of the music, along with like vibing with the music too.
I would say too, like above all that, it just helped when like y'all actually become friends. Like, like sometimes you could work with somebody very, very well. There's artists that I could work with. We could make a song and it's a formula. I do this, you do that, the song's gonna be good. But like when y'all are actually friends, you know what I mean? I talk to him every day, like damn near from sun up to sundown, depending on what's going on.
Not that much because he works the night shift.
Yeah, but he get on my nerves, I get on his nerves, we go back and forth, whatever. It don't even matter. It's just like
he gets scared because he knows I can beat him up too. So that's crazy.
Damn, man.
Shaking my head, Tenny. Yeah.
So, do y'all have a favorite video or individually think the first one y'all dropped? Or
I think this new one we just shot is gonna be my favorite. Well, we just shot 2 new ones, so we have.
Stop playing. We shot 4 new ones.
Okay, we have so we were talking about it before. So we have 11 videos that are his song. We have 3 videos that are features, so that's 14 total, and 4 of them are in the tuck right now. So am I allowed to say the titles of the 2 that aren't out?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You do that.
So our 2 that we shot in Florida are Phenom and Angles, and then we shot 2 more off that. We shot 2 more off the album, and it was TML and Wild with Nikki. And like because we went to Mexico last year, we went to Florida this year, and I think out of all of that, one of my favorite stories was from the other day because we went to New Jersey to shoot Wild with Nikki, and we just like I saw all these boats, like these boat docks, whenever we were going over the bridge. And I was like, man, we got to find a boat dock to shoot at. So I drive to one. It's like a private one. I was like, all right, let's find somewhere else. So I found one on Google Maps. And then I drive over and we just start shooting. We just shot like with some of the boats in the background. And then we shot like on the thing, like in between, like the dock in between the boats. And then we just go inside because it never hurts to ask. And then, which was more so his idea. But we just asked the dude that was working. We were like, hey, man, like we're shooting a video. We'd love to get a shot on a boat. We don't know if that's possible. And he was like, oh, like, you want to just get a shot on a boat or you want me to take you out on the boat? And we were like, yeah, take us out on the boat. So he was like, all right, yeah, you can pick which boat you want. And we were like, well, we don't know.
Big
like,
ass blue one.
Yeah, we didn't know. But
cool.
The funny thing was, whenever he he was like, what kind of boat do you want? And I was like, just pick the coolest one. He grabbed the keys, and it was under TAN, which is the first 3 letters of my name. And I was like, yeah, that's fire. All right, we picked the right one. Or he picked the right one. So he took us out on the boat.
You skipping a section.
What section?
The only reason we even went to the boat, if you really listen to the song, me and Nikki he said, genre on a plane, now we on a boat. We men, testosterone, whatever. A whole bunch of ego said, oh, you said it, now we got to get on a boat. That's how we even ended up at the port in the first place. Now you can tell your story.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about the boat bar whenever I said about going there.
But we was in the car, I was in the back seat, I was half asleep, I woke up, I said, bro, we got to go. You said it. We got to go. And that's how we ended up there.
That's not what he said when he woke up. He was like, are we there yet?
So
I don't know him. You brought him. I don't know who brought him.
Or one of us was playing music, he was like, turn this off.
It was probably, it's probably some mid playing. I don't know what it was.
what's the creative process like when it comes to structuring the music videos? Like, are you listening to songs he's sending you, like, bro, we should go with this one? Or are you like, genre, you're like, yo, I like this one, I got this concept for it. Like, how does that really work?
It kind of happens all different types of ways. Like,
it seems pretty natural, too.
I love his videos. He loved my music. Like, I got a song and I sent it to him. He's like, yo, we have to shoot this. And in my mind, we didn't have to shoot that. But then his vision is so crazy. When we get there and it get done, I'm like, yo, I'm glad you said that. Like, that was crazy. Or he'll say, yo, let's go shoot it here. And I'm like, that wasn't the vision. And that joint ended up crazy. Or like, I send him a song and he'd be like, yo, we got to shoot a video to this. And I'm like, we don't got to shoot a video. And I just feel like it's just natural. Like, again, when you work with your friends,
we got some more planned out, too.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing, like, with TML and Wild from the album, it was kind of similar situations. Like, location-wise, it was whenever I was in that 6-month school, we went to this place in D.C., and it was, like, a portrait gallery. So as soon as I walked in there when I was younger, I was like, I got to shoot here someday. So finally figured it out, and we were like, all right, well, let's go to D.C. Let's just hope there's no issues with bringing the camera in. And we were all good. We got the shots we needed. We figured out some other ones, too. And then the one with the Wild one with Nikki, I went to Jersey Beach like twice with my family, and I was like, this boardwalk is crazy. There's like so many good spots you can do a video here. They had like a fairground area or whatever. And then we went over there too and shot that one 2 days later. So we drove 2 hours to DC to shoot that first one, 2 hours back, and then it was like 4 hours on the way to Jersey and like 3 hours on the way back. So it was just like a lot of driving in those 3 days total.
Shout out to Nikki. You were scared to shoot that
and
video.
The one
I like that, but you did your thing.
The one spot in the TML video we shot in DC, I found it by accident because my boy Chaz was with us, shoots pictures and produces. Shout out Flicks by Chaz and Prod by Chaz. Go buy a beat or go book a shoot. I don't care. Just do one or both. But he was like, we should do something with columns. And I was like, you know what? And I looked it up on maps, and there's this spot with these huge columns. It's just like out in the middle of this field pretty much. And I remember I originally had the spot picked out for Nikki for this song like 2 years ago, and we never did it. And I was like, okay, we got to use that spot today. It came out crazy.
That was a crazy spot. I mean, the little columns looked like euphoric. Yeah. The damn columns made me feel like I was a Greek god in Olympus. The dark skin one, that was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was a good find. That was a great find.
I got some flicks too. I got some flicks by Chaz.
No, so it sounds like pretty much it's like a good collaborative effort between both parties. You're bringing the good music to be able to create the vision, because it's one thing to get a song and you're just like, all right, but it don't inspire you. So definitely is kind of a good situation in that regard. But so how does like pricing work? Is it a situation where like, since you guys are traveling so much, you're like, all right, I'll cover the travel expenses and you shoot the video, or like?
I charge him normal price. I charge him the same thing I charge everybody else.
Genre ain't no different from the rest of y'all. Nah, you know, like, that money, that's...
You just gotta invest in yourself, and that's what it really is.
Yeah.
So it's like, just knowing where to put your money, and like where, just budget it saving-wise, and know like what to put back into the music. And knowing what to use for everybody, or everything else as well.
And I feel like that's another... Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. You can go ahead. I was just going to just say I feel like that's a good point to make, because most people might think because you guys are friends that it's like, oh, bro, come on, just shoot the video, but it's like...
I'm about that bag, baby.
Respecting both.
Respectfully.
It just
Give me
again,
that cheese.
when you work with your family and your friends, man, the business just kind of like it makes sense between y'all two and y'all just
Keep the money in house.
like how it work how it's supposed to.
No, so I was just going to ask next, what about working with like other videographers and other artists? Like, since you guys are so locked in, obviously you pay the thing, so do you have to like set to the schedule? He hit you like, bro, I'm trying to shoot this video right now. I need this. I need you to come through. But you're kind of like, oh, bro, I got something lined up. Like, has there ever been a situation like that, or?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I think we shot a video and then that was just like, you haven't shot a video with anybody else since then, I don't think.
I was just about to say, I was telling this story. My first video was in South Carolina, came back, shot with, I believe, 2 other videographers. Then I shot with T, and after T, I ain't never went nowhere else. I can't speak for the future, but the majority of them videos going to be my mains right here. That's just what it's going to be. You know, we got a formula.
But if he
got
gets a
chemistry.
crazy opportunity, I'm not telling him not to take it. Like, that's dumb.
And if he get a crazy ass musician, book my mans, he's crazy like that. It's business at the end of the day, you know? But as I always run back to, and like I was telling you before we got to the cameras, when you working with your family, when you working with people you trust, like none of that stuff matter. We just understand the opportunities, we understand the business, we understand what's supposed to be going on. And at the end of the day, when I go out and I reach out to such and such and my name get bigger and then I put my name on his channel, or when he reach out to such and such and his name is huge. That is so weird. And he reach out to and then his name get big and then I come back on his channel. Like, it's just business at the end of the day. So, you know, if y'all are out there and y'all working with your friends and you hating on your friends getting opportunities, fuck you, you's a weirdo. That's how I feel. I'm not pouring up a shot of Henny for that. You's a weirdo.
I need a soundbite for TikTok.
There you go. I don't TikTok much, but there you go.
You want to know how crazy his album was? This is why we're coming.
Talk about it.
This is why we're coming back a year later and shooting these songs. I got this John tatted on me right here.
Talk about
I
it.
thought you were about to pour Henny on my arm. I would have been sick.
That'd have been crazy.
But no, what happened? I was like Phoenix over here and I. We were talking about getting when we were in Florida. We were trying to do it the last day, and then some things ended up going a little south, and we didn't have time. And then I had a bad day, like a few days after we got back, and we were about to link that night. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hit my guy, see if he got time. Because I was like, man, because I'm really into animals too, and there's a reptile show the next day, and I was like, I'm either getting tatted today or I'm buying an animal tomorrow. And luckily he hit me back, so I was like, bro, I'm just trying to get something tatted real quick. So then he just did this for me. He freehanded the whole thing, and then he freehanded the spider web too. He does all my tattoos. His name is Josh Hoffman. He works at Rapture Tattoo. He goes crazy though. That's my dog. I've known him for like 8 years, back from skating, and he started tattooing. About to do my sleeve this week. Was tapping with him. He's fire.
What's crazy is, like, I be telling my mom this. I be telling my fans this all the time. Like, I make audio. I'm in the basement or I'm in the studio or wherever. I'm just yelling. You know, that's all I'm doing. I'm just yelling, and it kind of has a melody to it. Maybe sometimes it rhymes. Maybe sometimes it doesn't. Whatever. But when you can make people move and feel and act based upon your art, like that, for me personally, I don't know about any of these other rappers, but for me personally, that's just one of the dopest. One of the illest feelings ever. But to have somebody like imprint shit on your, like, that's next level, and then it be your family, and then that's next level. So like, I tell y'all, just mean what you do, be very intentional on all your stuff, and then stuff will just open up for you. You'll find your friends, you'll find your brothers, you'll find your sisters, whatever it is. But like, just be intentional, man. Being intentional got me to where I am. It's gonna get me to where I'm going, and the same for all of my friends and my brothers and my teammates and stuff like that. So I ain't gonna preach no more.
So would you say probably the biggest benefit out of this relationship is the ability to be able to be consistent? In your sense, you always got a video, new idea you can try out on, and in your regard, you got somebody you trust be able to send your music to and give you a fire concept or give you something you wasn't even thinking of, so that way you can continue to put out that work that continues to elevate.
I would say definitely. It's like there's a lot of transparency, and even because I'm not even gonna say we're always on the same page, because it's like rarely, and it was it's like he doesn't listen to a lot of what I say most of the time, pretty much all the time, and contrary to popular belief.
Contrary to popular fucking belief.
But it's like, yo, bro, I got this idea, and he'll be like, nah. Or it's like, or sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I got this idea, and he's like, bet, let's run it. So it all kind of depends on the situation, like what the song is. If it's a song that he already has a certain idea in mind, maybe it'll be like we just kind of combine ideas. But it's more like if I ask him to work with a certain artist, he'll be like, I don't know about that. But video wise, it's like pretty trusting. So
I mean, we trust each other, you know, like his opinion isn't always the right one. My opinion isn't always the right one or the best one per se. You know, I know I see a lot of wild
even
things.
if he thinks it is.
A lot of high takes. Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a lot of hot takes. I got an album called I Was Right. I must be a little egotistical, just a little
I
bit.
like having the tattoo because it's like,
Boom.
if I'm arguing with somebody and then comes out that I was right, I'm just like, and if I'm wrong, I'm just like,
Yeah, put that away real quick.
Sometimes, you know, we'll be at a shoot and I'm like, yo, why don't you shoot it this way? He'll listen and shit will come out crazy. Sometimes I have a song and he'll say, why don't you name it this instead of that? And then the song title go crazy and then the song is bumping. So it's just a mix, you know? Like, it's just
my
me
life
bouncing.
moving like you same boat.
I'm trying to keep myself from buy that Gucci raincoat. Let me stop. Same one. But
That's a little snippet.
So,
Y'all probably don't want to hear my vocals.
he said,
Just wait for the feature.
little auto-tunes to get him right. Well,
hey, John, put him on the track.
a lot of auto-tunes there.
But let's talk a little bit more about your music genre and what the fans can expect. You've dropped 2 albums so far. The first was in 2020, Bipolar. Had 11 songs, no features. So what comes to mind when you think about that project?
I mean, that project, I'm still local. It's cool. I love it where I'm at. Definitely, focused on getting to the next level. But I remember specifically coming out with that project thinking, I'm better than all of y'all. None of y'all can rock with me. I'm going to out-bar y'all to death. I'm going to out-sing y'all to death. Y'all cannot fuck with me at all. And that kind of just breeds a little bit of like arrogance, a little bit of, it's just not as fun as the person that I am when you see me and interact with me, in real life. But I definitely made some good music.
Sorry, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have not a lot of people, but people have like a bad perception of him being cocky, was kind of like through those moments. But like whenever you meet him in person, he's like super chill and not as cocky. It's more of a confidence.
I was talking spicy. I was talking crazy. But yeah, no, when I think of that time period, I was look, I'm honest, it's transparent. But in that time period, I was just trying to be the best, and I was trying to poke my chest out, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you're trying to make friends and be political and X, Y, and Z, it make it a little bit hard. But that's what I think of in that time period. But I mean, if I'm being honest, looking back then, I wasn't necessarily the best because I was saying I was the best. I wasn't the best, but I was in the right mindset of how can I self-improve and et cetera, et cetera. It came with a lot of benefits. So that's
like whenever you look back on yourself after progressing a certain amount and you're like, I wasn't as crazy as I thought back then, but now I'm going hard, and then the cycle just kind of repeats itself as you keep going.
And that's hustling. That's hustling for sure.
So then you followed up that project with I Was Right in 2021. So what were you right about?
I was right. My man had too much hint. No.
Me or you? You.
Hey, listen.
I'm chilling.
What was I right about? I think I was right about the intuition that I had about myself, right? And what we got going on here as a team and as a collective. I think I knew that we had a formula. I think I knew that we had the sound. I think I knew we had the ambition. I think we knew we had the right frame of mind. And for the project to come together the way it did, like I couldn't have been more right about anything in my life. When I picked up a microphone 7-8 years ago, I could not have been more right to do so. And I feel like I was right from song 1 to song 14 on the deluxe was me getting that point across. Was me saying, I have the skill, I have the star power, whatever, even if I'm not a star right now. But I have the ability, I have the drive, I have to go get, I have everything I need. It's just a matter of putting it in the right place, in the right position. So when eventually I do blow up, God willing, I can look back on that project, I can take his arm and say, yo, I was right about what I was saying in that moment.
I didn't know where that was going.
Sorry. Just pep it out, just fill it out.
That project, did have 3 features on there. Young Fawcett, Nikki the Jet, Kiara Love, which are some of like pretty mainstream artists in PA when you think of, well, I say underground come up, people who've made a name for themselves in this sense. So was that strategic with going for those features in mind, since the last project you didn't really have any?
Mm-hmm. I actually have 4. The last one she was missing was
sorry.
super dope artist. All of them are dope, but can't forget him. I remember waking up to that feature like, damn, listening to it in my speaker in my phone. I'm like, damn, I gotta go hard. This thing going crazy. But no, so I have 4.
Every time.
Was it strategic?
Alan never misses.
He never.
Probably because he never drops.
Probably because this motherfucker never. Anyway. Was it strategic? Absolutely. Everybody around here, man, everybody. I hate Harrisburg. This city's and the people. I love this goddamn place. I love it from head to toe. You want to know why? It gave me my start. I got all my connections here. Like, I've had the most success I've had with shows and fans, etc., etc. So I felt like if I was going to start and leave my real first imprint in the world, every single feature was either going to be it was going to be from Harrisburg, 100%. It was either just going to be me or it was going to be Harrisburg. So yeah, that was very intentional, 100%.
Now,
100%.
Like I said, that project came out in 2021, and you guys just mentioned a year later you're still shooting music videos for that. So is the delay on kind of a new project to give the fans time to actually take in how good that album was and build that up more?
It wasn't really intentional. It was more like halfway through the year, we thought it was too late to go back to those songs. But now it's like we know how solid those songs are, and it's like the amount of people that haven't heard them compared to have heard them, it's like they just need videos. Like, the songs are too good to not have videos.
Also, like, to piggyback off of that, like, I just feel like we didn't have the formula. Back then, in the age of bipolar and all that, I thought I had the formula. It was a plethora of things I didn't know about the industry, about promotion, about having a team, about being a manager, I just didn't know any of that stuff. So I felt like maybe not. It didn't take an entire year. Maybe it took about 6 months or 7 or 8 months, something like that. But like, we just had to get the formula right. We got to get a team. We got to get a media manager. We got to get a videographer. We got to get X, Y, and Z, a marketer, X, Y. And once we put it together, this is what we're doing for every single. This is what we're doing for every album. This is what we're doing for every cover. Then I can come back to y'all and give y'all what I feel like y'all deserve. I'm trying to be somebody's favorite artist. And you can't be somebody's favorite artist just doing things off a whim. You can't be somebody's favorite videographer just having a random camera just transitioning through. You can't do that. You gotta put your heart into it. You gotta put your all into it. You gotta put your money into it. You can't just half-ass it. And I feel like that's really where the hiatus came from. But watch what happened though. Watch what happened on Cloudy Conversations. Yeah. Remember, I just said watch what happened. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a good parallel between artist and, say, video, and even producing and engineering. It's like whatever you're doing, like, listen. If you're making music, any kind of music, listen to the music that you want to make or something similar to what you want to make, and you'll figure out how to build up to that. And if you're doing videos or photography, look at the pictures you want to take and build up to that. If you see videos and you want to do certain effects, you want to film it a certain way, watch how they're doing that, and you kind of have to break it down in your head. I feel like that's one thing I've always been kind of good at, is watching something and figuring out in my head how to break it down. And if I don't know how to break it down, then I'll find another video showing me how to do at least part of it, and then I'll either take that and do it in my own way, or just figure out how to do it like exactly how I saw it get done.
Yo, we are wild similar. I don't like that, but
I'm just smart.
I don't like that.
So for you, wrapping it up musically, what can we expect next? Even though you're still pushing this, last project, are you still creating new music? Do you have the next album already in the tuck? Like,
listen, I'm not going to say anything about no album, because the media manager that said I can't be talking about none of this stuff, and the marketer said I can't be talking about none of that stuff.
Can I talk about an artist we're both rocking with?
In a minute. Got to. But as far as what you should expect, just expect that I've been working. Just expect that I love what it is I'm doing. And if that's a firm understanding in your head, then you should already know what's coming. I feel like there was a saying going around in Harrisburg. I really think it's crazy that this was an actual saying, but I heard it from multiple people, and none of them was friends, so I know this is true. They all said, when genre get quiet, some shit is coming. 100%. I've been quiet for a long time. T and I been for a long time. So y'all don't even like it's coming. And if you understand that I love this thing, you understand that I really take this very serious. It's going to. Yeah,
you did that in the one video so many times in the raw footage. You were like,
consistency,
okay,
baby.
but all right,
consistency, baby.
Two of these artists so we got KJS and we got Darko Bands. We got. Am I allowed to talk about this? I'm already talking about it, so I'm gonna talk about it. He already said, whatever. So we got one song with KJS. We're in the middle of shooting it right now. We're gonna get it finished up soon. And then we got 2 songs with Darko. One is his song, and the other one is a remix he hopped on. So we're about to go crazy on those too.
Crazy.
So that means we got like 7 in the tug, low key.
Tanner, I want you to finish this sentence for me.
Oh boy.
TH Media is
a movement. Or no. Well, you like that one? I was gonna say. I want to switch it. Resting my hand for a little longer.
Alright,
I'm gonna switch it. I kind of want to switch it to foundation. Because I feel like what I really wanted to do from the start is you look at Cole Bennett with Lyrical Lemonade. Mm-hmm. He has all these artists on his page. For the most part, it's just that's where the video is, and he brought a lot of traction to himself and the brand, but at the same time to all these other artists. So a lot of the artists that are on his page got discovered because they were on his page. So what I like to see as like a local area is people coming together and building off of each other and just like building a brand along with building other people's followings too. So foundation, movement kind of go hand in hand. I think those are like 2 good words to describe it if that works.
Hold on. Plug. To my man that's sitting right here. He is he is one of the craziest bulls I've ever seen with a camera. He can't do all that because I told him go ahead and be humble, but I'm going to not be humble for him.
Well,
crazy.
The other thing is that I was thinking about last night, it's like a lot of people that do videos higher up, they will have other people come in and do the effects for them. I do everything myself because I feel it has to do with a sense of pride in a way too, because I feel like if I didn't do everything throughout the video, I feel like it's not a true TH Media video. Mm-hmm. Whenever I probably shouldn't have that mentality in the future and like be willing to expand and like, but it's just like not where the cards are at right now. Mm-hmm. I've always just kind of went along with a gut feeling, and whenever my gut feeling is telling me to move something in another direction, then I will. But for right now, this is like how I'm running things and doing everything myself.
He's crazy. I don't care what he's talking about.
Besides having somebody else taking pictures and doing VHS work sometimes, like Chaz takes a lot of the pictures. I have Darko doing VHS a lot of times too, or just anybody who's willing to hold the VHS camera.
Mm-hmm. No,
besides me, Darko took some pictures for another video too, and they were crazy.
He's just a really good guy.
Not as crazy as Chaz,
wants you to succeed. Like when he decides he wants to work with you, he really wants to make sure you got what you need to get to the next level type. Even if, it's just one video, he's going to make you look like, all right, this is a star. There's a couple times you show me a video with a video better than the song. And the song make me look, the video make me look like, okay, I like the song and the artist. I'm telling you right now, he care about you and your future and X, Y, and Z. So anybody out there that's like, yo, he ain't say my name, X, Y, and Z. Like, this is a genuinely good dude. Like, you want to work with him. You want to get behind him. 100%.
No, and I think that's definitely important because, like you said, you're building a foundation. So when you get to a point where the workflow is so crazy, where you got to start, bringing team members on, you want to be able to, one, instruct them to produce the product that you've been, producing, but also be able to know and have knowledge whether or not they're doing it right. Because if you used to outsourcing all the time and you get products back, or it's like, all right, shit, I don't really know. So, but when you did it,
it's a very common theme. Like once you get a little bit bigger, that I've noticed. But the other thing, because I watched Louis' whole interview, it was a great interview.
Thank you.
And he said he was a very slow editor, and I was just thinking about it, and I was impressed with how much faster I've gotten because. Everything, I edited over 100 videos on a 13-inch MacBook. Mm. And then I got a PC build probably close to a year ago. It might have been a little bit over a year ago. So after I got that, after I after I got past switching my workflow from Apple to Windows, I've gotten at least like 3 times faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good because it looks like what I'm doing, it takes longer than it actually does, which isn't saying I rush anything. I put the same amount of time into every video for the most part.
The workflow process is completely different.
I'm very systematic. I'm a systematic person, and I see footage and I know what to do with it. And like, even whenever I'm shooting the footage, I'll watch it and I'll look at the people's hand motions and just like their facial expressions and everything. And then because you can hear the volume in the camera. So I listen to the bass and the snares and the hi-hats, and I just see, I'm like, okay, I can save that for later kind of mentally if I remember or not. It's just like that bass hit to that snare that looked really good what they were doing.
Pretty much that money shot, you see it.
Yeah, there was this one with Darko that him and I shot recently, and he did like, there's a basketball hoop in his background, and he did this, and right as he did this, somebody shot a basketball and it went in the hoop right as the bass hit, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. I gotta post that one as a raw clip too. But it's just like, just things like that aren't quite as obvious, that it's like I'll see but nobody else will really see.
Basically, like I said in a nutshell, he cared about your ass. He done did the whole videography. That was cute. He cared about your ass. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
So how many videos do you think you've done to date, even with the ones that's unreleased?
Okay, so I have everything written down. So except for like my first year, I believe. So this year so far, I think it's 55. Mm-hmm. Last year I did 104, so I averaged 2 a week. So that's 159. And then I want to say before that, actually, I think I did have 2020s written down too, but I recently lost everything in my phone, so I don't have that anymore. I think that was close to 50. So we'll say 209. And then I think I did 20 my first year, so like 229 I want to say.
Damn.
Probably around that. If that's not right, I think it's pretty close.
And that's just the music video content.
Yeah. I mean, that's mostly what I focus on. Like, I do some wedding videos here and there, but like not that often, not enough that I really keep track. Like, I did one this year. So
you got a number counted?
What?
Like 100% when you go home, you could say I got 227?
I just said I lost my stuff on my phone for a little bit, but I think.
But you said.
I was guessing for some of it, but I think 229 is probably around what it was.
Damn. Genre gonna be.
If that's exact, I would be baffled, but I think it might be a little more.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah, it is whenever you think about it, but like especially whenever my workflow was slower, but now, because I was like, we're halfway through the year right now, and I was like, man, I'm at the same amount that I was last year halfway through, but I was like, maybe I'll do more than 104 this year just because I've gotten a little faster. So we'll see. I wasn't really pushing a goal of numbers this year. I just wanted to do 104 last year to prove to myself that I could average 2 a year and get that much out. And then, but now it's like, if I get that many, cool. If not, I just took more time. And
I'm saying, now do you feel like the focus is more so on, of course, continuing to elevate and produce, but at this point, the quality, the brand is more so established, so you don't necessarily need to put out 104 videos. And not saying you wouldn't want to, but it's like your that first couple years when people were building up, it was like, this is like you need the fast pacing, but now it's like kind of what genre was alluding to, like what's coming with me now. Like, so now I'm just focusing more so on that repetitive quality, continue to increase my gear and just show y'all different things.
Yeah, so let me think about how to answer that real quick. I feel like everything that I put out right now is, so I'm gonna say last year was like right here, and I would say where I'm at, even if the people watching this don't think that, I would say last year was where I was at, and I think right now I'm right here. And then next year, striving to get up there. But that isn't intentional. It just kind of builds over time, because I always see a need to improve and a need to get better. And I think that's what a lot of people lack. I'm not coming at anybody or anything. Like, artistry wise, video wise, photography wise, whatever, you have to be willing to teach yourself, and you have to want to improve But with that, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. So if you're passionate about what you're doing, you will always want to improve and you will always want to get better and want to like build what you were doing in the past. So it's like you can't be worried about the money whenever you're first starting out, because if that's what you're really passionate about, that's what you're going to make the time for. And then eventually, I was just talking to my barber about this yesterday, but what you're passionate about, if you make enough time for it and do it for long enough, the money will start coming to you.
That's intentional though. Like he said, it's not intentional. It just happens over time. That thought process, don't be confused. That's intentional. I'm intentionally saying, how can I improve?
I feel like it's unintentional with me though, because I feel like it comes natural. So yeah, but it has to be intentional to some extent to want to improve. You just can't be lazy with it.
So
but it may be on our head. Maybe it's not natural. But if you could fake that natural improvement by just being intentional in what you do. Because like I'm gonna argue with him about that a little bit later, pick his brain a little bit. But you got to want to be a hustler, and you got to want to get to the next step. And you got to want to, and you got to keep people around you that's gonna show their video to you and say, yo, shit was alright. Or show your song to, why you make it harder on the chorus? Double layer that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have that. And that to me, shows hustle. That shows intention. But we gonna argue about that later. That's another here, okay? So,
what is one thing that you personally want to improve on when you speak? Because, John already been bigging you up. It's fire. But when you think about your own work, what is that one thing that like, you're personally striving to improve?
I think the one spot I'm lacking it is storytelling, and because I remember also in Louis' interview he was saying that one of his strong suits was storytelling, and that's how he could stand out. And I don't feel like that's one of my strong suits, because that's not what I enjoy to do. But just because that's not what I enjoy to do doesn't mean I shouldn't step out of my comfort zone and try it. I think like one of my strong suits is just really clean shots, like whether they're gimbal shots or handheld shots. I think I think I maneuver the gimbal differently than a lot. The gimbal's just like the camera stabilizer, but I think I maneuver that differently than a lot of people. So I don't think there's too much room to improve there. I would just say like improving on storytelling and like progression through a video, and just like a variation of different shots throughout that, just kind of figuring that out. But it's like not everybody comes to me with ideas of storytelling, so it's not like anything I really have too much of a chance to practice with, because if somebody else doesn't bring it up, it's like, I'm not bringing that up. That's a lot to do.
Yeah, I understand. So kind of wrapping it up, one question that just came to mind was, do you find that, because you said earlier you're kind of producing the same workflow now, you understand what you want to produce and how to get it, and that one thing that you're lacking on is the storytelling. Do you think that is kind of something you want to pursue rather soon, to not kind of keep producing the same format of work, to actually give the viewer, because I feel like when I see your video, I know it's a TH production, whether your logo is on it or not. So do you want to give them something where they're going to be surprised it's from you?
Yeah, I think I would like to do that more eventually. I think a lot of the times it really does depend on the artist. So I'm sure we could figure out something like that, but it depends on the song too, because I know a lot of the times people just want to see a really cool video, and that's what you want to deliver to the audience, or like you want to cater to the audience that is watching. But I think a lot of times with storytelling, because I look at what Cole does with Lyrical Lemonade, and it definitely started moving in that direction, where it's not necessarily storytelling, but it's more so like progressive throughout the video. So it'll be like somebody walking. So like I'll use the video Godzilla with Eminem and Juice WRLD, RP Juice WRLD. And it was like Eminem was walking through this like kind of post-apocalyptic grocery store. And it was like as he was walking through, he kept like seeing himself in other outfits. And it just had like a very, like it wasn't a story, but it progressed a lot throughout the video.
It was like what it would be like in that moment if it was really in the grocery store going crazy.
I'm going to get on his ass real quick, because I've been trying to get him to do skits. I've been trying to get him.
I also hate talking parts in the middle of videos.
I've been trying. They be hilarious.
If they're done correctly, with the right audio and right lighting, it looks good. But the majority of people do not do them correctly, and it looks poop.
How we gonna do it wrong? How me and you gonna do it wrong?
We're not gonna do it wrong because we're just not gonna do it.
That's cooked. Y'all heard it right here, live and direct. It wasn't my fault. It was his fault. Just saying, what?
No. So pretty much just in closing for you, Tanner, you kind of already answered this, but maybe down the line, do you ever see yourself transitioning out of like the music video lane and maybe just being a director for movies or a sitcom, TV shows? Like, could you see yourself being in that type of realm?
As of now, I would say no, just because I enjoy what I do in the direction and the growth that everything is moving in. But that's not to say it can't change either, because I didn't think I would be doing this whenever I edited my first ever music video my senior year of high school in the middle of class. So I just thought I was doing this like one time or two times for fun. But even take it back to like junior year, I was just like, I didn't have any thought of that in my mind whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, now this is, I'm definitely, like, everything is moving in the direction that I wanted it to over time. And I think once I get to it, I would like to expand what I do and like have just offer different services and stuff like that. But I feel like it's more about kind of just having my own brand and company and just like learning how to build that and engage with more people. And like my dad, the flooring business, he owns his flooring business. So I've always kind of like had this sense, like I know a sense of ownership mm-hmm. towards like something that you've built. And I think that's like one of the things in my dad that I admire a lot, that definitely goes down to me.
For sure. So in closing, for both of you guys, what do you want fans, people watching, to take and remember about you from this interview?
That I'm taller.
I don't even know what to say to that. I had a joke, he killed the whole joke. But
mine was funnier anyway.
Nah, it probably was, honestly, to be honest. But just be intentional, man. Just in everything you do, remember that he and I both, in general, if you look up to him, if you look up to me, or vice versa, or a combination of the two, just be intentional. I feel like both of us are very strong-willed individuals, and we want what we want, and we going to figure out how to get it. And that just comes from a place of motivation and hunger. And if you don't have those three things, if you're not intentional, if you're not motivated, if you're not hungry, chances are you don't even want it. So just with that, and just find whatever it is that those things fit into for you. But like for us, we know what this is, we know what we're doing, and just expect what's to come, man, because we coming, man, for sure.
And I got a lot of unreleased videos. I got a lot that I'm excited about. Let me see how many I have on my to-do list right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 videos that I need to edit right now.
And I'm in there.
And he is, but they're going to wait till last. And then I don't know when this is coming out. I have this video with, his name is Xavier Starr. We shot this video called Call Me. I just finished it last night. It's coming out this Friday. I'm really excited for that one. I got a lot of stuff in the tuck. Tilo, shout out to Tilo. Him and I got 4 videos on the way too. One of them is with Mike Mobbin. Let me see what else I got. I'm sorry, I should remember this off my head. If it loads, you can say something real quick.
Hey, Sharper baby. That's all I got.
Okay, it loaded. I got one with Swerve, Who is Golden, and Drewtyrell. This Thursday, 10's it's about to come out. Yeah, that's all I got set for my premieres, actually. But
he had a whole 5-minute introduction to that.
I got a lot of stuff coming, whether it's with him or like a lot of other artists. There's music on my channel for everybody. We have rappers, singers, female rappers, female singers. Any kind of music y'all want to hear, it's on there. Go tap in. You will find something you like.
And it's going to be good vibes.
Almost 200 videos.
It's going to be some good vibes in there for sure. On my page, on his page, there's just good stuff on there because we genuinely people that care about the craft. We care about the entertainment of the people. You come to my show, you go to his page, you're going to get entertainment out of both of us. So you're never going to leave like disappointed. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and you just reminded me, speaking about your page, I was going to tell you to drop it, but your young got hacked.
Yo, chill out, yo. Listen, Listen,
I hacked it.
they hacked my page. They hacked my Instagram page. We had @genre. I'll kill you. We had @genre. They hacked it. They swapped it. They flipped it. They flopped. I don't know what's going on. But within the next week or two, I don't know when the video gonna drop, but within this next month or two, we gonna have something ready for y'all
at the bottom
to.
of the screen by the time this drops.
Boom, right there. Follow this link right here. The other one, genre.6. That's nonsense. Follow this one right here. I don't know what it's called yet, but follow this one right because they got us, and I'm sick. I'm never gonna quit music. You never gonna get a drop off from me, nothing like that. I'm gonna always go crazy. I'm gonna always, if I take an L, I'm put my chest back out and get back up.
But not out of bounds.
That's Big Sean. That's not genre. What I'm saying though is, we coming back, and we on your asses. I said we because we got a team. We on your asses. That's all I got.
Lasses.
Tanner, you can go ahead and tell them where to find, you, the music, videos.
Yes, sir. Y'all can follow me on Instagram @Tanner Hench. That's my personal account. And @th.media_ because I can't get the full one yet. But I will someday. YouTube is just TH Media. Follow my fingerboarding page too, TH Fingerboarding. And I'll probably follow y'all back. Just depend on if you have good content or not.
He's lying. He's straight up lying. He's too Hollywood. He ain't gonna follow you back.
No, I will. Don't listen to him.
No, but again, this was a great conversation. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, being so open and transparent, and really giving us a different perspective on what it's like not only as an artist and a videographer, but to be able to come together and find people not only as a friend but common with a co-partner pretty much. So again, thank you everybody tuning in. Be sure to follow Big T, Cloudy Conversations, and we're out.
TH Media.
Genre.